Mueller's credibility is called into question again as his sketchy sources are revealed by Amy Moreno for TruthFeedNews.com. The Russia probe is an absolute farce. We know that simply because after over a year, I would say more than a year, over a year of intense investigation, Mueller and his gang of angry Democrats have found absolutely no evidence, and now it's gone from the Russia probe to a campaign finance probe. Now, to make matters even worse, we're learning that many of Mueller's biggest and best sources are the media. Good grief. From the Hill. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team has sent a subpoena to veteran writer Jerome Corsi, the first publicly known effort to compel a journalist's testimony in the Trump-Russia collusion investigation. Corsi, whose work has been showcased for years in conservative outlets such as Human Events, WorldNet Daily, and the InfoWars conspiracy site, why do they call it that, says he will not fight the subpoena and plans to appear before the grand jury on Friday. The subpoena is not a so subtle reminder of just how much prosecutors, FBI agents, and the government's confidential sources who launched the sustained the Russia probe all targeted, courted, and leveraged the news media. This is like really a joke at this time, at this point in time when you mention this. Like really? Anyway, Mueller's team reportedly wants to question Corsi about his contacts with longtime Trump friend Roger Stone and whether Stone ever asked Corsi to try to get WikiLeaks to release damaging emails on Hillary Clinton before the 2016 election ended. And what's so bad about that? I don't get it. Why not? If he's got them and you want him to release them, you got a connection, what's the big whoop? It's expected that Corsi, just call the Chinese over there. They'll give it to you for a couple of bucks. I'm more than sure. They'll laugh at you also, Mueller. It's expected that Corsi will tell prosecutors he did not bite on Stone's overtures, in part because he suspected Julian Assange and WikiLeaks were monitored by U.S. intelligence after their past publications of classified U.S. secrets. That's why I think that Julian Assange, the journalist, went missing. This all ties together in that sense. So now we know who's got him probably. I can almost like 99.9% say they got him if they're going after this ridiculous thing about Jerome Corsi and Roger Stone. Really? What a joke. Stone is a former business partner of now convicted lobbyist and former Trump presidential campaign chairman Paul Manafort, as well as a longtime outsider advisor to Donald Trump. He recently told the Hill's new morning program, Rising, that he fears he might be indicted by Mueller over his interest in WikiLeaks, Clinton email leaks. Stone has denied any effort to collude with Russia to swing the election to Trump. Listen, she was a decrepit candidate, Mueller, just worse looking than you and decrepit. There was no Russia interference to swing the election. Just take a look at the broad. She's falling apart. You can't even glue her together to stay in one piece. She's tripping all over herself. She couldn't make it out to the other states because she was coughing up a storm. She was ready to croak. She passed out at the 9/11 memorial service. Come on now. Really? I mean, aren't we sick of this Russia thing? I mean, really? Just take a look at her, man. Just take a look at the woman. You want that thing representing your country? Really now? Department of Justice DOJ officials declined to comment. From the beginning of this investigation, key figures involved in it have had extensive contacts with or connections to media. And this is all on our dime now. All this crap is being paid for by us, mind you. You know what I'm saying? All this garbage. We're going to Corsi and Roger Stone because they WikiLeaks. Go ask the Chinese. They got everything. So anyway, I lost my place because this is very aggravating at some point. You know, like you read these articles that what they're doing and you just like say to yourself, what? Unbelievable. From the beginning of this investigation, key figures involved in it have had extensive contacts with connections to media. Fired FBI official Peter Strzok and his alleged paramour, Lisa Page, texted frequently and leaks to the media affecting their cases and even suggested the FBI was behind some of those. FBI Director Andrew McCabe was fired for lying. We know all that. The FBI secured FISA warrants against Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, who I say was a plan from the get-go, in part by citing a Yahoo News article by Michael Isikoff that it turns out was based on a leak from the FBI's own informant in the case, former British intelligence operative Christopher Steele. They set up Carter Page. They used him as a plan to get the FISA warrant. It's so obvious. To get dirt on Trump was bought and paid for by Clinton, not the DNC, not the campaign. It was bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton herself. Now, whether she paid through the other sources, it was the witch behind it. The court that approved the surveillance warrant apparently was never told that the article was not independent corroboration, but rather circular intelligence from the poison Steele tree. Okay, DOJ notes recently provided to Congress show one of the media leaks in which Steele was involved was considered by his boss, Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson, to be a Hail Mary attempt to swing the election rather than to inform the FBI in courts. That's the sort of biased evidence the FBI should eschew or whatever, not embrace, of course. Anyway, the FBI and DOJ are corrupt. We don't need this whole spiel. Let's get to the gist of the matter. Whether forced or unwitting, journalists never were intended in the founding fathers' minds to be states' witnesses on a regular basis, and part of the chilling effect such collusion can have on a news outlet's ability to be viewed as impartial, independent arbiters of the truth. Yeah, they're all a bunch of liars too. Let's get to the gist now. What about Mueller? DOJ and FBI prosecutors hope to persuade the reporters to turn over some Ukraine evidence on Manafort that the government didn't have, or at least to identify as a source who could lead the feds to the information. The reporters made clear beforehand that they would never do such a thing, but the government proceeded with the meeting anyway. Give it a rest. The only reason Manafort was targeted was because his connection to Trump. Give it a rest. People already on to you, Mueller. The reporters came hoping to confirm sensitive law enforcement information, and they left with corroboration about some of Manafort's bank accounts. Yeah, from 2002 or something. Yeah, right. As well as confirmation from federal prosecutors were secretly investigating Russian organized crime through their office in Brooklyn. Unreal. The exchanges between AP and DOJ also unwittingly promoted a new witness to come forward to the government. She got the names and contacts for the prosecutorial team as a result of the AP stories. DOJ's two-step with the AP, along with the FISA applications and the Corsi subpoena, suggests that either the government is getting lazy and using journalists as a shortcut to evidence, or that it has in the Russia case lacked the sort of corroboration needed to proceed forcefully. Neither reason is particularly comforting to those like me who view an independent media as essential to democracy. What democracy? They're all a bunch of corrupt animals. That's what they are. Corruption at its finest. And the Russia probe is an absolute farce. Mueller's grasping at straws. Meanwhile, he's charging the taxpayers for this garbage that he's doing. He's going after Mueller. He's going after Cohen because of their connection to Trump. They have nothing on Trump, and still they raided Manafort's home, office, whatever, Cohen's office. They raided it. I'd like to know, had we raided just one office of Hillary Clinton's, You know how much info we would have gotten? Stacks and stacks and stacks that it would take you maybe about 2 years just to go through the material of what that one was capable of doing. Just in one office. Forget about the rest of them. Okay? And yet they still didn't find anything on Trump, yet they're charging us. Now they're going after Corsi just like they did Roger Stone over the WikiLeaks. And then all of a sudden the journalist from the friend of the Julian Assange goes missing. Come on. Come on. This is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.